Hello, listeners. This is Kat, and welcome back to Put Your Hands Up Podfic. This will be the continuation of Datastream. This will be Part 12, Chapter 12. Izuku was already out on the field when his uncle showed up. He had known, of course, that Uncle Shouta was going to be doing a quirk assessment test today, so he had been out here setting up the test instead of going to class. Yeah, Hito might be right that he was hiding from Kachan. Bakugo. He needed to stop calling him Kachan. But he was doing what Uncle asked him to. The fact that Izuku had asked Uncle to give him something to do means nothing. Izuku, is everything ready? Uncle asked as he got to where Izuku was waiting and ruffled his hair. Yep, he replied, sunshine smile turned all the way up. All the tests are ready, and I've got 20 balls here prepped and on standby to be thrown, and a drone on standby to collect them, even the ones that are going to be destroyed. Uncle raised an eyebrow. Tell me, which ones will be destroyed? Turning a smile into a sharp grin, Isuku replied. Kaminari Denki, quirk electrification. He's going to try to put a little bit of spark into his throw, and while it will work, the electricity will short out the ball's circuitry and cause a small explosion, dead ball. Ashidomina, quirk acid. She'll try something with the acid, and it'll eat away at the ball's mass, making it lighter and able to go further, but again, the circuitry will be fried and will explode. Urarako Chako, quirk zero gravity. That ball will fly into the sun. Kirishima Eijiro, quirk harden, and Ida Tenya, quirk engine. They'll both hit the balls hard enough to do some serious damage to it. Majima-sensei might be able to save those two balls, though. He hesitated, and then said quietly, Bakugo Katsuki, quirk explosion. That ball will be lucky to make it to the ground. Explosion will throw it far, but it will cause a secondary explosion of the circuitry. It's likely to burn up before it hits the ground. Uncle pulled him in for a quick one-armed hug, letting him go shortly after. He's got a reputation to keep, after all. Can't let the students know he likes one kid. You going to be okay seeing him again? Izuku scowled at the ground. I think so. I mean, don't think for a hot second that I'm going to be more than a meter away from you at any given time. Hito's not quite as badass as you are yet, and Shouto's too pure to really understand why I'm scared of Bakugo. If you're going to cling to me like that, I'm going to have to tell them you're my nephew. That okay with you? Yeah, I'm going to introduce myself as Aizawa Izuku anyways, so the relation is going to be obvious. Izuku shrugged. Besides, I didn't get into UA on your say-so, and I'm not a hero student, so no one can claim favoritism. Izuku leaned against his uncle for a moment. It's taking them a long time to get out here. Hitoshi and Shouto are almost here, but the rest just barely got to the locker rooms. Izuku let loose one of the evil grins that was a copy of his uncle's. Tell them you're expelling the last place. With his own evil grin, Uncle said, Can you believe there are people out there who don't see how we're related? Uncle chuckled and continued. Who's going to be last? If you're right, I'll consider it. Oh, it's going to be either Hagakure Toru, quirk invisibility, or Mineta Minoru, quirk pop-off. If it wasn't for all the training you put Hito through and all the inventive ways he's learned to get people to respond to him, I'd say he'd be in the running for last place too. None of them have quirks that can really help them in these tests. Jiro Kyoka, quirk earphone jack, is another in the running for last, but she might be able to augment her grip test with her earphones, and she looks like she's faster than Hagakure. You can't pick that many. Just choose one. Mineta Minoru. Final answer. Uncle looked into the distance and saw Hitoshi and Shouto nearing them. Who's going to be first? Either Yaoyorozu Momo, quirk creation, or Shouto. She's got the perfect quirk for this test, so if she knows how to use it right, it'll be her. If she doesn't use it right, then it'll be Shouto. I want it to be Shouto, but I really think it'll be Yaoyorozu. If your predictions are right, we'll have Katsudan for dinner. Isuku laughed at that. Nice try, Uncle. We're having Katsudan anyways. Papa said so. Ooh, Katsudan, Hitoshi said as he got close enough to hear the end of the conversation and gave Izuku a hug. Zashi makes kick-ass Katsudan. Can I come? I'll ask Papa. Shouto looked back and forth between Uncle and Izuku. I don't see any resemblance. Are you sure you're related? Izuku giggled sweetly, while Uncle chuckled darkly. Shouto narrowed his eyes and gestured to them. See? Nothing alike. Oh, Hito, Papa said you can come to dinner. Shouto, you're invited too. Hitoshi cheered while Shouto hummed a bit disappointed. My sister was going to make cold soba for dinner tonight. I'll rain check? Sure. Shouto blushed as Izuku turned to smile on him. By this time, the rest of the class was starting to show up. Uncle Shouto's expression changed from his uncle look to his teacher look, and he gave the class his best disappointed stare. It took you almost 15 minutes to get here. That is unacceptable. From today on, you will be here within 5 minutes. While Isuku was being quiet, he could feel the gazes of the other hero students, along with the burning glare of Bakugo. Izuku, introduce yourself so these hellions will stop staring. Okay. Izuku turned his smile all the way up to 11 and waved at the class. My name is Aizawa Izuku. You'll see me in nearly all of your classes, but I'm not a 1A student. I'm the principal's personal student, and I specialize in analysis, observation, coordination, research, and strategy. The better I get to know you, the better I'll be able to guide you in the field. Fuck you, Deku. I don't take orders from little shits like you, Bakugo growled out. Izuku flinched and took a half step back towards Uncle, but said, You don't have to, Bakugo, but you'll likely be docked points in an exercise if it's meant to be one I'm guiding. Additionally, my nephew's name is not Deku. Call him that again and you'll be in detention, Uncle reprimanded. Nephew? Several students exclaimed. Yes, nephew, Uncle repeated. And I'm more than a little protective of him, so if any of you give him trouble, you will be answering to me, understood? The class all nodded their heads. Good. Now on to the reason we're out here. You kids have been doing these since junior high too, right? Physical fitness tests where you weren't allowed to use your quirks. The country still uses average tests taken from results of students not using their quirks. It's not rational, especially for heroes in training. Bakugo. Uncle looked at the growling blonde who still hadn't stopped glaring at Izuku. In middle school, what was your score for a ball toss? 67 meters. Then try doing it with your quirk. You can do whatever you want so long as you stay in the circle. Hurry up. Give it all you've got. Bakugo caught the ball Uncle threw at him and got into the circle. Anything goes, huh? His smirk turned sharp, and he pulled back and threw the ball with a shout of, Die, and set off a massive explosion. Uncle looked at his reader and raised an eyebrow when error was shown instead of an actual score. 1 sec, Izuku muttered. The pieces are still falling. A moment later, the score, 705.2 meters, showed up, and Uncle showed it to the class. Know your maximum first. That is the most rational way to form the foundation of a hero. So manly, Kirishima exclaimed while punching his fists together. I'm getting pumped up. Awesome, this looks like fun. Izuku had to turn away when he heard that comment from Ashito, as he knew he was going to be sporting the same grin as his uncle. And sure enough, Uncle Shouta grinned and put an end to the excitement. It looks fun, you say? So, you were all planning to spend your 3 years having a good time while making friends. What happened to being a hero? Uncle's tone and expression made the entire group fall silent. All right then, new rule. Whoever gets the lowest score, Uncle paused for the dramatic effect, will be instantly expelled. What? But that's not fair, Uraraka complained, but that was instantly shut down by Uncle while Izuku did his best not to let the rest of them see him laughing. Unfair? Then what about natural disasters? Massive accidents? Or how about villain attacks? Uncle's creepy-ass grin was intensified as he lifted his hair out of his face. All kinds of unfairness are hurled at heroes on the daily, and it's our job to turn that unfairness around. If you were expecting to have a fun-filled, normal high school experience, then you're sorely mistaken. For the next 3 years of your life in this school, UA is going to be throwing one hardship after another at you. Plus Ultra, and all that stuff. Just like Izuku had predicted, once all the tests had been completed, Yaoyorozu got first place, and Mineta got last. Mineta, I was not joking. You barely gave any effort in these tests, only trying on one. I don't see any potential in you, so you're expelled. The tiny purple boy started crying and pointed to Izuku. It's not fair. What about him? He didn't even participate. He should be expelled. The only reason he's even here is because he's your nephew. Izuku raised an eyebrow at him and reminded him. I'm not in the hero course. Technically, I already graduated high school. I'm literally only here because Principal Nezu is my sensei, and it's easier for him to teach me here. Deku's fucking useless, Bakugo snarled. Bakugo, that'll be a detention tomorrow. His name is not Deku. I warned you, Uncle said darkly. Hey there, baby. Papa hugged Izuku tightly and planted a kiss on his curls. How was the first day? Did Shouta expel anyone? Izuku giggled as he hugged his papa just as tightly. Yep, some kid named Mineta. He got last place in the quirk assessment test. He kept staring at all the girls in class and making lewd comments about them too, so it was really only a matter of time before he was expelled anyways. I'm sure if either you or Auntie saw him, you'd give him the boot too. I certainly would have, baby. Turning to Hitoshi and giving him a hug as well, he asked, "What place did you get, my purple cat?" "8th, but it was close," Hitoshi answered. "I was able to get some help on a few of the tests, but for most of them I was able to just power through it quirkless. I was one of the last each round, so I always knew around where I'd land." Izuku was able to accurately predict each round's ranking, Shouta said proudly, causing Izuku to turn bright red. "Really? That's great. How long did it take you to make the predictions?" "Well, I already had a general idea of the final rankings before any of the tests," Izuku admitted. "But as everyone stepped up to the test, I was able to factor what I knew about their quirks from their registry and their level of confidence, and then added in a bit of what I could see of their personalities, and maybe about 2 minutes before the individual test started, I sent the predictions to Uncle before each one." Hitoshi was staring at him in awe. "You know, every time I think you can't get any more amazing, you do stuff like that," he said with a soft smile and a blush. "Hito, you can't just say things like that." Hito laughed at that. "Oh, by the way, can I get a copy of Aizawa's entrance to class today? That was the funniest thing I've ever seen, and I swear I almost pissed myself trying not to laugh." "Oh?" Papa asked. "What did he do? I want to see." Izuku giggled as he sent the video to both Hito and Papa. "Uncle's chat name should be changed to Future Moth. He was caterpillaring, and it was amazing." All right, listeners, this concludes Chapter 12 of Datastream. Chapter 13 will be up next. I hope you all are still enjoying it as always. Thank you so much for listening.